Start reading from the book of Luke. I'm reading from St. Luke, the first chapter. I'm going to start reading at verse 28. Now I'm going to start at verse 27 for the people that want to read with me. So this is Luke 1 and 27. To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, first and foremost. And the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail now, thou that art highly favored, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. So the angel started out saying that Mary was blessed among women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying and cast her mind what manner of salutation this should be. Luke 1 and 30. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and his name shall be Jesus. And he shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Most High. And the Lord shall give him the throne of his father David. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever. And of the kingdom there shall be no end. Selah. That get back to when I was saying God never removed the house of David. The house of David is forever. That's number one. Jesus is the house of David. So the house of David is forever. So Mary was of the house of David, number one. That's the first and foremost thing. Joseph was of the house of David too. The thing about Mary that was so great, and Mary was a pretty big-eyed black woman. Beautiful big-eyed black woman. Remember, we come down from Ethiopian stock. Look at my eyes. See, we come down from Ethiopian stock. So the original Jews are a tribe of people among the Ethiopians. So you got to go and look at how many different tribes you got in Ethiopia, number one. It ain't one tribe. It's a lot of different tribes. The Jews are one tribe among the Ethiopians. I read Genesis 2 and 13 to y'all on the video, and I showed y'all that the Garden of Eden was actually in Ethiopia. I showed y'all that. The next thing you need to realize is the Ethiopia that we talking about encompasses the entire northern Africa, including what we call the Middle East today. That was Ethiopia too. You got to realize that too. We're not talking about the little small Ethiopia today. We're talking about the big Ethiopia that got Yemen in there, Israel in there, Sudan, Somalia, Eritrea, all that's Ethiopia. And the ocean was called the Ethiopian Ocean at that time. So everything was Ethiopia over there. That's where the Jews came from. Right? That's why we got the big eyes. So what I want to tell, now today we got Jews with different eyes too. But I'm full-blooded. My mom and dad is too. You see what I'm saying? That's why I got the eyes. My mom and dad both got the same eyes. Know what I'm saying? But you do have Jews with slanted eyes and different kinds of eyes because we made it and mixed with people. But originally, if you go look at all the ancient pictures, we all look like this, right? So because we Ethiopian, the Ethiopians still look like this. This is why we used to walk back and forth to Egypt. Go look and see how close Ethiopia is to Egypt. And then you'll understand it again. And then for other people that, when I'm explaining Mary is a big-eyed black woman. That's what I'm trying to, a woman with eyes like this, big eyes. I'm trying to explain to y'all why, because she Ethiopian stock. All right, so she full-blooded. If you full-blooded, you got the eyes like this. All right, so what I was saying was, this is why we was able to walk back and forth to Egypt, because Ethiopia is right next to Egypt. You got to keep remembering it. The next thing you got to remember about this, when Jesus sent the Spirit back in the book of Acts and the disciples got filled, the first thing they did was the Spirit picked one of them up and took them to the Ethiopian eunuch. Remember that too. Remember that. Why? Why he ain't sent him to go talk to a person of Albanian? Or why he ain't sent him to go talk to a Mexican eunuch or some from somewhere else? Because the Ethiopians are the original Jews. So he was like, man, you got to go take this back home. Go give this to the Ethiopians because it's their stuff. When you get into the book of Ezekiel, and when I was saying God was talking to us, in the 30s, in the 30 chapters, in 31, 32, 33, 34, when he's talking to the blacks in America. One part he told Egypt, God said, I'm going to get you. God said, I'm going to smite you, Pharaoh, Egypt, because he said, you said the river belonged to you. You said the Nile River belonged to you. God said, that's Ethiopian stuff. I'll show y'all again. All right. The Ark of the Covenant. Able to touch the Ark. See, you got to, I want my white brothers and sisters to start asking real questions that make sense. Why the other people can't touch it? Why they don't have it? If it's theirs, why they don't have it? Why the big-eyed black people got it? Why they able to touch it? Because it's their stuff. Now you see what I'm saying. One more time. The Ethiopians was practicing Christianity 2,000 years before the Bible was even wrote. Think about that. So y'all got to put some respect on their name because that's our real people. So we Jews is coming from Ethiopian stock. So we was a tribe among tribes in Ethiopia that branched out and started our own thing. Now you see what I'm saying? So we just left Ethiopia and went into what we call modern day Israel and started a new thing. But when you get back to the Garden of Eden, we was in Ethiopia. I'm going to read it. Genesis 2 and 13. I sensed some pushback. Genesis 2 and 13. And the name of the second river, we talking about the Garden of Eden. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. That's the only country we named in alignment with the Garden of Eden. They still are the keepers of the Ark of God. They have been practicing Christianity 2,000 years before the Bible was even wrote. All right. You can't even argue with that. All right, back to what I'm saying. So the Virgin Mary was a big-eyed black woman, and she was beautiful. She was coming from Ethiopian stock. She was beautiful. So Virgin Mary was the sacred feminine embodied in a physical body. So let's talk about the Virgin Mary. That's what this video about. You had Ruth. You had Esther. You had Sarah. You had Deborah, was a judge that freed Israel one time. You had some great women that came through. Then you got to look at all the other women that wasn't even in that Bible that we had. That's in the other books. The book of the wars and the book of Jasher and some Jubilees and the other books that's not even in the Bible. You had great women. But what I'm telling you, those women wasn't vibrating at a frequency to bring forth the Son of God. Mary was. So Mary was the great among the great. You understand? So this is why I say Mary, the Virgin Mary, the Black Madonna, was the embodiment of the sacred feminine on the physical plane. God has been born in the flesh one time, and Mary was his mama. Think about that. This how great Mary was. Beautiful. One more time, Mary was gorgeous. Man, God ain't picked no anybody. Mary just wasn't no anybody. The house of David ain't no anybody. These some good-looking people. Know what I'm saying? Go back and look at Queen Charlotte. Man, that woman beautiful. I like Queen Charlotte myself. Like, go look at some of them big-eyed people, and you'll see what I'm saying is true. Like, they some good-looking people. They some pretty people, bro. That's why Solomon said in the Song of Solomon, he said, come here, all y'all daughters of Zion, come look at me. He said, I'm dark-skinned, but I'm good-looking. Come. David's son we talking about. Mary is the daughter of David, And Joseph is David's son. So now you're understanding what I'm saying. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. We talking about the same type of dogs. If I got a black and brown Rottweiler and a black and brown Rottweiler and they make puppies, they make black and brown Rottweilers. That's what we saying. They don't look no different. They don't fall too far from the tree or how the mom and daddy. I look just like my mom and daddy. Go get my daddy and put him on side of me. We look just alike. My sons, they look like me. So Mary was a beautiful woman. And she was chosen among women. That's what that angel was trying to tell her. The angel said, you blessed among women. And they're going to remember you forever. Mary was the mother of Jesus, right? So think about this. She gave Jesus milk. This woman changed Jesus' pampers. She raised Jesus. That was her son. She cooked grits in the morning for Jesus and them and porridge or whatever they was eating, different kinds of grain. And it was Mary that did that. She made sure they had nice t-shirts and polos to wear when they come outside. Mary bought their stuff. This black woman, this big-eyed, beautiful black woman. Now the thing about Mary was this. After they crucified Christ, and he went to hell and preached the gospel to the people in hell, like they said in the Bible, and Christ came back. Boom, he blew up and became an instant star. He was already a star before he left. But after he left and came back, he really was a star because people came from everywhere. Just like I said, they converged from Syria. They came from Ethiopia. They came from Egypt. People came from Libya. People came from Yemen. They came from Lebanon. People came from Babylon. People came from as far as the Philippines, like I said. The Philippines was with us. The Philippines is with us, man. They Jews too. The Philippines came. Everybody came. Paul and them specifically went to the Philippines and was bringing word to the Jews over there. They with us. You know what I'm saying? The Philippines came. People came from everywhere to hear that help. Like, that's a real help. We was like, that's real help. Like, there you go right there. Jesus sitting there running the fish fry, laughing and talking to people. They like, Dad, the big-eyed Jesus back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was looking. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I told y'all Jesus having lectures and preaching and all that is in the Bible. You got to read your Bible. It said he taught many days after he came back and taught them everything. You see? So Mary was there. Think about it. She lost her son and he came back. That woman was happy to be with her son again. She was around Jesus constantly. Mary Magdalene, the other Mary, and his mama Mary, all the Marys was around Jesus. They never let him out of eyesight once he came back. They was all there when Jesus rose up like a helium balloon, which was one of the most spectacular events in the history of the planet. When we standing there and we see this man just start raising up and everybody was looking and he just got small and small and small and disappeared. We like, what happened just now? That was crazy. We talking about this dude didn't need a NASA rocket. He didn't have an astronaut uniform on. He wasn't in a SpaceX spaceship. He needed no spaceship. This man rose up in his regular robe, man, regular clothes. We never saw that done before. Humanity never saw that done. They say the fiery chariots came, got Elijah. God took Enoch with him, Methuselah with him. Jesus rose up himself. The same way we rise up when we die, but people can't see it because it's our soul, our spirit rise up. Of us that go up there, because everybody don't. You know, different people go different places, but I go up there. So the people that go up there with us, that's the people that had near-death experiences or they died and came back like I did, and they saw themselves rise out their body and go up like I did, and looking down, and next thing you know, you up there. That's what Jesus did. See? So, get this book, The Mystery of Christ again, Edward Belazar, and I teach all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I teach what's actually, what happened when you go up there and what you see and what you got to pass through, all kind of stuff. It's deep. You know what I'm saying? So, The thing about Mary was after Jesus left, she was the closest thing we had to Jesus. So his mama instantly became a rock star. Remember I said people converged from every direction. I got a few things to tell y'all about Mary. But remember I said people converged from every direction. They followed Mary around everywhere after that. So when people start coming in from Syria, from Babylon, from as far as Chin, Shinar in the Bible, Shinar, China, far from Shinar where we had the Tower of Babel at, way from there. People was coming down from Russia. You know, we got Christians in Russia. They was coming to see what was going on. People was coming as far as the Netherlands, and people was coming from England and coming to see, getting on a boat going to France and coming running down there. They came from every direction. And when they got there, what they saw was Mary, the big-eyed black woman, the beautiful black woman. And people followed Mary around constantly. The Father allowed me to see a vision. And what I saw was Mary sitting down in front of, like, I want to say a house, but it wasn't a house. So Mary was sitting down. And they had somebody standing on side of Mary. Bruh, they had a line of people waiting to talk to Mary. This the stuff that people don't know. They had a line of people waiting to talk to Mary. You had somebody sitting there painting Mary, somebody making a sculpture of Mary, and people go up. She was like a superstar. I saw it. This is how we started to practice a prayer rags. Close. Mary started that. See, I saw it. They was bringing sheets to Mary. They was bringing pieces of material to Mary to get her to bless. Mary was praying on stuff. So if you got somebody that's sick in your family, you take a garment to Mary and she lay hands on it and pray, and you take that garment and lay it on your family member and they healed. This is who Mary was. So this is why I said people followed Mary around. Mary became a rock star. Why do y'all think we got so many paintings of the Black Madonna and carvings and statues everywhere? They start worshiping Mary. So what people started doing was, it started and I'm going to say what the Spirit told me to say, a wicked cult. It became wicked. Because Mary was never supposed to catapult Jesus, but this wicked cult did. And these dudes even started dressing like Mary. It was real twisted and messed up. It was evil. You know the devil always take our good stuff and use it for evil, right? So he used the good Mary and used that story for evil. Where people start getting materials from Mary and putting it on altars and worshiping Mary. And that's what caused us to break Mary down, the church. So we was like, Mary getting, and we was like, break that Black Madonna down, like, put that statue in the attic, man. Because it's starting to catapult Jesus statue. Like, people starting to actually start cults unto Mary, and they praying to her and stuff, and that ain't what Jesus wanted. And the church was actually right. So you got to remember, you always got to stay in the center. You can't go to the right or to the left. Go. And what they was doing was going to the right, or either they was going to the left, and it was wrong. To the left is when you deny Mary, and that's wrong. And to the right is when you make Mary a God, and that's wrong. But when you got it perfectly balanced, you saying Jesus is God, but Mary is his mama. Okay, now you got it perfectly balanced. Now you see what I'm saying. And his mama remained who she is. A little higher than the disciples, but below Jesus. That's how it was. So Mary walked around getting followed by people constantly. That's how you get a book of Mary. That's a real book. I don't know if we still got it, but we had it at one time. And in that book, because everybody kept asking Mary questions, you got to realize they never stopped coming to see what happened. They kept hearing the story about Jesus. We hear the story about Jesus now. See, we never stop hearing that story. So when people hear that story, they automatically converge to go see. And when they get there, they see Mary. And they see crowds thronging her and following around like Jesus. So they start following. Then they see Mary talking to people, praying for people, healing people, doing all kind of stuff. And then they want to know the story of Jesus. So Mary got the inside scoop on Jesus. Remember, Mary got stirred when he's 7. She got the 9-year-old Jesus. She got the stirred about when his brother fell down and Jesus had to help him get up. And she got all the stirs. So they sit around Mary in groups and get her to just tell stories about Jesus. Somebody be sitting there writing it down, trying to get his own little New Testament. His books ain't making it into the Bible. See? You got to remember they had thousands of books at the Council of Nicaea. They only chose a few of them. They left thousands on the table. People that wrote Mary's story down and all kind of stuff.